welcome to another edition of Sideline Sports, joined by John and Jake, sponsored by the Score No Score app. Conference championships this week. Download the app, Score No Score, on the App Store and Google Play Store. Make sure you download it and play it. This is the perfect time. One game to concentrate on. Score or no score. Win those chips.
Pretty simple.
Make sure you downloaded that. Also, Jake, what do you have in the bag over there?
Oh, you mean my now that I'm back at school, I have my ball deodorant. You mean that? I told you when we were doing the shows last week, I didn't have it because I wasn't at school. Now I'm at school. I have my lovely Manscaped ball deodorant. If anybody can see that, there you go. It's very important. And I have my ball toner over here somewhere. I just put it away. Just using it before the show started. Very, very important stuff.
College kids need that.
I'm wondering.
Everybody needs
today,
it.
That's true.
I'm wondering if today, with the Hall of Fame announcement looming, if Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens had to use their ball deodorant because they were sweating.
They were sweating.
They were sweating the announcement. It didn't work out very good for them. So I'm wondering, were they using the ball deodorant to make sure they smelled good? If you want to have ball deodorant of your own, go to manscaped.com. Use code SSN. Get 20% off. Thanks to Jake, John, and myself. 20% off ball deodorant. Come on. What are you waiting for?
I don't know, man.
I can't live without it, man. Like, I can't live without it. Once you have it, I mean, you just can't live without it. You have to have it.
I can't go a day without it now.
It's a game changer.
It really is.
It's a ball changer, is what it is. All right.
Well, let's start with the Hall of Fame announcement because we were lucky enough.
Transition from one set of balls to another.
We were lucky enough to hang out with Big Poppy this evening for a little bit.
John had the ultimate photo, by the way.
We got to celebrate his
I'll pull that up for us in a sec.
That he got elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Congratulations, David Ortiz. So what you think of the class of David Ortiz and David Ortiz?
I was gonna say, you mean David Ortiz and only
don't
David
they have
Ortiz?
like senior?
Yeah, but the elected class is David
But like,
Ortiz.
okay, so nobody voted in.
Yeah, I mean, there's still people that can get in through the Veterans Committee.
Yeah, which they did mention that other people. I forget who else they mentioned are getting it, but those aren't votes, right? Those are just like basically
they
like
are votes, but they're the Veterans Committee. It's a different
right. It's different.
It's a different set of votes, technically.
It's kind of like how the NFL Hall of Fame works.
Yeah, but with that, the odds are most of the people have passed away at this point.
Yeah.
When they get in that way, or are extremely old. David Ortiz is still a young man.
It's his first try.
Considered the first ballot Hall of Famer. But, I thought an interesting question on the press conference tonight that really, I thought was a great question that was asked, was how he felt about Bonds and Clemens not getting in with the
I was going to ask
steroid use.
Yep,
with
me too.
With the PED usage, if they're, even though it wasn't confirmed, but, I thought his answer was interesting, especially with the follow-up that, he had failed the test in 2003 before the issues went into effect.
Right.
And he pointed out that he never failed the test after that. So take what you want.
Still failed a test.
Clearly, that doesn't matter to them.
I mean, I think that if he failed a test and he got suspended for it, right?
Sure did.
There was a suspension. Okay, so if
he didn't get suspended.
He didn't? I thought he did.
I thought there was a suspension.
Hold on. By the way, I can't find it. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
It was before the rule went into effect.
Okay, so he did, but same with Barry Bonds, right? I mean, same thing with Barry Bonds. It was before the rules went into effect. Same thing with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. And those guys, it was the same thing because when they allegedly did it, that was before the rule came into effect, correct? And the MLB, I'm not advocating for them to get into the Hall of Fame, but if we're going to go the route of David Ortiz gets in, and I'm not necessarily knocking him, but if you're going to put him in, you have to put the others in. It doesn't make sense if this guy failed and still got in, but other guys failed and didn't get in. Like that to me
I agree.
doesn't add up. And you know how big I am, you know how much I'm against Bonds and Clemens getting in, and McGuire and Sosa. So the same thing. I've always felt the same way about Poppy. I appreciate being on the call tonight, and I respect him as a ball player, but at the same time, I'm all about fairness. So if he gets in, I think the others should get in. If he doesn't get in, then they shouldn't. Like, it should be all the same thing. That it shouldn't be this.
It shouldn't be one way or the other.
Exactly. And this is coming from a guy that's completely against Bonds getting in. But you gotta be consistent.
You also think that certain people are not Hall of Famers.
But I'm just saying, like, you have to be fair.
No, you're right.
One way or
agree.
another, you got to be consistent because it sends the wrong message. And that's not what the Hall of Fame's about or supposed to be about.
No, I agree completely. I mean, I think it should be one set of rules that you follow. And it's either one way or the other, but you can't have both. That's wrong. So if you choose to have guys like Ortiz go in, it doesn't matter that he was a bigger icon in certain respects than a guy like Bonds, right? And I mean, he was more likable to certain people. He meant more to a specific city. I think you could probably say.
I was about to jump down your throat.
No.
Big of an icon Bonds is
compared
to him.
But I mean, and I think you can argue that Bonds meant more. Ortiz meant more to Boston than Bonds ever meant to anybody he played for, specifically San Francisco. And it's not to say that he didn't mean a lot for them.
I don't know. I mean, Poppy did a lot for baseball. What Bonds did, even
the reason I would say that
aside, what Bonds did with those runs and McGuire and Sosa, that saved baseball because baseball was dying back then.
I'm talking about what they meant to a specific city.
Okay, gotcha.
That's like to Boston. Poppy meant almost everything because he brought that first championship in so many. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying in terms of where he was from, he meant more. But that shouldn't matter. And that was the point I'm making. Just because he was a bigger icon in certain respects like that, it shouldn't give him a pass, if you will, because everybody thinks of Poppy, right? You're always going to think Boston, even though that's not the only place he ever played for, right? It's not the only place he ever was. You're always going to think Boston. You're always going to think all the incredible accomplishments in Boston. When you think of Bonds, you're going to think of a lot of things. You're going to see a tale of two, years, if you will, sets of years, if you will, right? People are going to think of the drug use. That's what they're going to think of. You don't think about that with Ortiz. And again, I don't, but a lot of people won't.
But
like the voters. I don't agree with it, but they do, and that's where I take a problem because they're not thinking about the things that Ortiz did off the field like that. They're thinking about what he did to Boston and what he did for Boston, and they're thinking about what Bonds did and what Bonds, what he negatively did, and then I guess comparing him to a guy like Ortiz because he didn't do as much in certain respects for a specific city, and they're like, oh well, Ortiz should get in and screw Bonds. We still don't like him, and it bothers me.
When it comes to Bonds, listen, I had the opportunity to interview Pedro Gomez on the program. Great interview, great guy. Unfortunately, he's passed away way too early. He was the guy from ESPN that covered his home run when he broke the home run record.
Pedro Gomez was amazing.
Yes, one of the best baseball minds out there.
Yep.
He had the opportunity to shadow Bonds, and he spoke to Barry. He had a good relationship with him. A lot of the media does not have a good relationship with Barry Bonds. He had a good relationship with him. Barry Bonds didn't want to get involved with the media. And, Pedro said to him, let's try to make this fun. Let's try to do different things. I'm going to be with you all year. We can do different things and we can try. Bonds had no interest in it. A part of the issue with the Hall of Fame, it's voted on by writers. I mean, so if you don't have a good relationship
writers have a bias.
Media,
they definitely do.
You don't have a good relationship with the media, which Barry had one of the worst relationships with the media. Right. They got PED used.
Well,
PED use maybe for Clemens. If you want to say Clemens, that may be his issue. But Bonds, even if he
Bonds is a couple of things.
The media relationship was a killer. He hated the media, and the media hated him. If you look at Bonds' career, I don't want to say he retired. He basically got forced out of the game. He could have still played a good 3 more years. He was still hitting the ball phenomenal. I know he could have went to an American League team in DH and probably hit another 150 homers easily. But the owners basically colluded to keep him out of the game. And he just went away silently. He had a bad relationship with the media. That's why he's not in. And then
that's one of the reasons.
You couple that with the PDUs. They're gonna say that's their main reason. That ain't the main reason.
I mean,
it's his relationship with the media.
It's a lot of things. But
your point, Jake. It makes me think of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we think about the story from a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah. When the one gentleman, I don't know his name, but he mentioned about how Aaron Rodgers is a bad guy and he's not getting an MVP vote because of that. The media, these writers, the writers specifically, because I can't say all of media, not us, we're media, and we don't necessarily
right. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, hey, watch it.
But the writers, like that gentleman, I forget his name, but
yeah, I know you're talking about.
He specifically said, I'm not giving Aaron Rodgers a vote. Even before the season, he was like, nope, this isn't happening. He's a bad guy. All this stuff happened.
And then when he was caught lying, it was even worse.
Yeah. So, like, that's what these writers do that have this power is they gatekeep. You know, they play God with these people's careers, with their lives. Like, and I have a problem with that.
I do too.
It shouldn't. T.O. shouldn't have to wait. You shouldn't have had to wait. Guys like that shouldn't have to wait. T.O. was one of the best receivers of all time. And it felt like he should have been first ballot. Like,
I think
it's one of the best receivers we've ever seen.
I don't want to get political, but I think it should be like the government in certain facets, checks and balances. And that's the only reason I'm bringing up. There's checks and balances. That's all that I mean. I
get you.
Because you have guys that abuse the power, right? And now I'm moving away from politics. I just wanted to bring that up.
No, but I get you.
But you know what I mean? Like, they abuse the power because they don't like a certain player, or a certain player did something to piss them off specifically, and their one vote can be the entire reason they miss out on an MVP. Yep. They miss out on a Hall of Fame induction 1 year or forever possibly. It's not right, and it is beyond infuriating. Because there are some times where, you know what, you don't have to like the guy; they deserve it. Okay, I mean, it's just the way it is. Some guys just, I don't like David Ortiz as a Yankees fan. Of course, I don't. However, just because I'm a Yankees fan, if I was a writer and I was voting, I wouldn't have been no because I don't like him. I would have been like, yeah, of course he's a Hall of Famer because look at all the accomplishments he has and how great he was as a player. Like, there's no question to me that he is worthy of the Hall of Fame. And I'm not a writer. I'm not one of those writers, but I get the feeling that some of those writers do exactly what I just described, which is, well, I didn't like him, so screw him. He's not getting it. If you have a
bias, you shouldn't have a vote in any MVP, Hall of Fame votes, nothing. If you have a bias and that affects any of it, you should not get a vote. Like, seriously, you shouldn't.
Every human is biased. We're born to be biased.
But you're a professional and you're holding these people's careers and their lives in your hands, and this affects them. I mean, let's not get it twisted. It really does, because if they don't get in the Hall of Fame, it changes things for them. If they don't get the MVP, that changes potentially a contract that they might get.
Right.
They don't get Defensive Player of the Year. Like, these things matter. Like, these people, if you earned the MVP or if you earned the Hall of Fame, you should be in there. Like, this shouldn't be something where somebody gets to gatekeep. That shouldn't be a thing. I get this is kind of how it works, and it's a flawed system, but it needs to be changed if you're letting you're a Bears fan or you're a Bears writer and you don't want Aaron Rodgers in, like, that shouldn't be a thing.
I agree.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I have my issues with Clemens. I'm a Yankee fan, and he was a Yankee. And I'm the first person I'll hate people on my teams. Once he picked up I didn't like him before.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Once he picked up the broken bat, he threw it at Mike Piazza.
Yeah,
he could deny that as much as he wants. How he didn't get a long suspension for that? Had that bat hit Piazza, at that time Piazza was a superstar, Clemens was a superstar. God forbid that bat would have hit him. Do you realize? And there was no fight. It was nothing. To this day, I'm shocked that nobody on the Mets went and clocked Clemens, and how Clemens didn't get a ridiculous suspension for that. After that, I have no respect for the man.
And that's fine.
And to me, that's not a Hall of Famer. Hall of Famers don't take up a broken bat and throw it at somebody.
No.
I get that. I understand that, at least. I think that's an acceptable kind of bias to have. Like, they did something on the field that was a judge of character, and it
takes away from them as a
Right.
It tarnishes that reputation in
the
the game.
Yeah, right. I mean, it really does. I mean, just imagine had the bat been about a foot over, and he would have hit Piazza in the leg, or bounced and hit him in the head.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need that.
No.
And that's one of those things where it's very different, where people might say, oh, well, using PEDs tarnishes the game. No. There's a big difference. PEDs, I'm not saying they're acceptable. I'm not saying it's good, but there's a big difference.
So
because all they're doing is enhancing viewership, probably. And I mean that, like, they play better. It makes the fans happy. I'm not saying it's good, but it's
So I have a
the
question.
effect is much less negative.
JP,
What's your question?
On the
do you
sport.
have the same vitriol against David Ortiz as you do Roger Clemens for their respective, or not respective, but their incidents?
Which David Ortiz incident are you talking about?
Well, I'm an Orioles fan, so I remember when he got called for a strikeout, and he went into the dugout and he took a bat and he started smashing the bullpen phone. Started smashing his bat. Now there's players around, and you just talked about how Mike Piazza could have got hit with with shards of a bat. David Ortiz could have clocked Dustin Pedroia or any of those guys. He came that close to hitting one of his guys. Doesn't that at all
I'll comment on
in
that
the
after.
same way as Roger Clemens does? Because that's even worse, actually. Because you're swinging a bat. You're a big dude. You're swinging at full force at the phone, and there's players all around you. If you hit one of them,
that's a much different situation. That's a much different situation.
That's not different. That's worse, actually. That's worse.
That's worse.
He threw up.
All right.
Picking up when he picked up at that point, it's a weapon, and threw it at the direction of the player.
So is swinging a bat with people right around you.
He hit an inanimate object with people around. He wasn't hitting the players. He was hitting an inanimate object.
I think I know what JB's trying to say. There's a little bit of a difference, and I can understand it, and I somewhat side with JB, but I see John's point.
I see his point, but
Clemens intentionally took what is considered a weapon at that point and threw it with the intent to harm somebody. To some extent. I mean, he may not have intended to, like, seriously harm him, but there was clearly an intent to harm with that throw.
If he
Ortiz
Dustin Pedroia, is he a Hall of Famer today?
But hold on. But Ortiz was taking out his frustrations, and while it was dangerous, he wasn't doing it with the intent to harm, and that's where I take the difference. There is the intent to harm someone else, and there is the key difference. Ortiz didn't mean to potentially harm anybody.
Homicide and manslaughter are still murder. Both of them are
right, but one is
still
far
murder.
Less,
right, but they still are
one
bad.
Is way better than the other because
still go to jail for either one.
Yes, but one is a lighter sentence for a reason because it's an accident. There was no intent to physically harm anybody, and that's the point. If you're intending to harm somebody, I lose a lot more respect than if you're taking out your frustrations. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying it's a better situation. I'm not calling it good, just saying it is better.
Is he a Hall of Famer if he clocks one of the players around him by accident? Is he a Hall of Famer still?
That's a great question.
I guess we'll never know, but it makes you think.
I think if it's by accident, yes.
He's not going to do it on purpose.
Right, and that's the point.
Dude, he's not going to do that on purpose.
Right.
That's the point.
Intent is half the problem. Getting back to the PED thing.
Yeah.
So PEDs were widespread, supposedly. We got to use that word, of course, because we're in the media. We can't say that people.
Yeah, everything is alleged.
So it's alleged and supposedly, and everyone had the same opportunity to take the needle. So to say that he was wrong for doing it, but somebody else who did it, may not have been wrong or could have put up the stats. If everybody's doing it, you got to go by the stats of what's there. So,
and I just don't like his answer of, well, I didn't test positive after that. Well, okay, but you still tested positive. Like, you're redirecting that question tonight in the Zoom call. You still tested positive. Like, it's not like, well, I didn't test positive after that. Okay, but guess what? In that instance, you did. If Barry Bonds tested positive once and you tested positive once, you both still same level. If he tests positive 10 times, you test positive once, same level. Like, you both did it. You both cheated. Cheating is cheating. Like, there shouldn't be semantics. Like, you did it, and you're forever part of that. Like, I thought his answer was kind of weak tonight. No offense, but I thought that was kind of, I know what he was doing, and I get it. I mean, he just got inducted first ballot. It's not really what you want to talk about, but same time, it was a fair question by whoever asked it, and I have no problem with it. He just redirected So that way, you know.
That's what media training does to you, John.
Yeah.
You learn to deflect.
Oh, that's what he did, and I knew what he was doing when he answered it. Like, if I would have gotten asked a follow up, I would have asked that very question. Like, okay, you tested positive once though. Like after doesn't really matter. So that's just me. But
Anyway,
he's in the same ballpark as Bonds, Clemens. You know, if Rose can't get in, then none of those guys should get in. Because Rose should be in for all of them.
He's a different ballpark now because now he's in Cooperstown and they're not, which it doesn't make it right, but that's the reality.
Yep.
Whether it's right or wrong.
Yep.
All right, football time because there is a lot to talk about. And
what's football? Do they use ball deodorant in football?
Of course,
What's the code?
It only takes 13
code SSN,
seconds.
all caps.
It really only takes 13 seconds.
Oh, ask the Bills about that. They'll tell you how that feels.
I'm not that impressed. Ask Reggie Miller. 13 seconds is a lot of time.
Well, you're a Knicks fan. You would know.
Exactly.
Oh, ow.
I'm not, though. I'm a Nets fan.
He's a Nets
Oh,
fan.
now you're a Nets fan.
He's always
They're in
been. I'm the Knicks fan.
When they were the New Jersey Nets, were you a Knicks fan?
I was a Knicks fan when they were New Jersey. New Jersey doesn't get any respect. No respect for Jersey.
This guy.
Ow, that hurts.
Man,
That hurts a
Eric
little bit, JB.
Awesome.
Does that mean you have no respect for me because I'm in Jersey?
You're not
Whoa,
Jersey.
whoa.
You just happen to live there.
Whoa, what did I do, Eric Wilson? He said, watch your list. I didn't do nothing. I'm just saying that JB is he's a Nets fan because they're in Brooklyn, but was he a Nets fan?
Brooklyn
fan. All right. Irrelevant. Before we get into the debate that I think all three of us know we're going to have, I'll pose this. What do we think of this divisional round weekend? Because I'll say this, JB and I, we stunk up the joint in terms of our picks.
Yeah, it was bad. It was. I was shocked.
I was probably 1-3. I don't know.
It wasn't
good.
I agree, Eric. Better than Wild Card Weekend, that's for sure.
Wild Card Weekend was awful.
This was actually, I thought, a really good weekend of football.
Yeah, I was 1-3.
I say it was a good weekend of football, but
it was a great weekend. How can you dislike it?
Well, I'll tell you. You want to know how I dislike it? Because I hate the overtime rules.
Oh, wow. Boo. World's smallest violin.
Look, it doesn't affect me.
The overtime rules are horrible before this, and I've said that. So
I've been saying that for years.
I don't have a dog in this fight. The Chiefs.
Neither do I.
Really good teams. It doesn't matter to me who wins. I'm going to enjoy watching that team play next week.
Right.
But the overtime rules are disgusting.
I think the biggest thing that I found, so give me 1 second while I look for it, but that I found that really, I would say, discouraged me and kind of bothered me. So since the overtime playoff rules were changed,
I picked the Rams. Oh, Eric's saying I didn't pick the Rams. That was the only team I picked right. I was all over the Rams. I tried telling you guys the Bucks were depleted. They had no chance.
Blah, blah, blah.
All right, so
run the tape from last week.
So they did have a chance. Matthew Stafford's the quarterback of the Rams.
Whoa.
There's plenty of chances. We're going to get to that.
All right, so hold on. So since the overtime playoff rules were changed, there have been 11 games. Either of you care to venture a guess as to
10-1
in favor of
the team that gets the ball first?
Yep. Only team that lost were the Rams to the Saints in 2019. Now, here's why I take a problem with that.
Yeah, I was 2-2. Thank you, Eric. I'm 2-2. I forgot I picked the Chiefs too.
So hold on. So where I take a problem with that is this: you're telling me that 10 out of 11 games were simply decided by a flip of a coin.
I don't think so.
They sure were.
No.
That's what that tells me.
You still got to go play football.
You're right.
As far as I know, defense is one of the three three parts of a team.
But when you're in overtime, there are three components.
Yes.
However, one of those components doesn't get to play most of the time.
They do if your defense steps up.
But hold on. So let's say this is the scenario. So hold on. Let's pose this scenario. This is why I think it's unfair. and this is where I pose the problem. Let's say fourth quarter, you're up by a touchdown. There's 5 minutes to go. You're playing whoever, and that team drives for 5 straight minutes and scores a touchdown to tie the game, just hypothetically. And then overtime, you flip the coin. That defense that was just on the field for 5 minutes has to go back out. How is that fair to them that they have all the pressure to win the game when they're probably exhausted, having had no break, basically, between the end of regulation and the beginning of overtime? Hold on. Having basically no break between the beginning of regulation, the end of regulation, the beginning of overtime, when in normal circumstances.
A stop in the fourth quarter and you win the game. That's it.
That's not the point.
No. Make a stop in the fourth and it's over.
You've missed the point entirely. The point of what I'm making is this. Hold on.
Baseball should just end extra innings. Have a coin
baseball
toss.
and NFL are completely different sports.
It doesn't matter.
Baseball can go to a coin flip, and if you score a run with the runner on second, that's it. The
games are different.
But
it's a ridiculous rule.
He's right, because basically flipping the coin says your offense gets to go out and more or less every time score. Most likely the reason for that, if you think about it, the defense was probably just on the field, and now you flip the coin, and your defense is probably exhausted, being forced back onto the field.
I'm sorry, is this middle school, or are these professional athletes paid $30 million to go out and
professional athletes don't get tired?
Downs?
Do professional athletes just not get tired?
Stop them for 4 downs. It's all you're asked.
Yeah,
it's not that easy.
Because the offenses aren't good. The offenses aren't good. You know, the defense just stop them.
It's John, you're out of order, buddy.
Defense gets paid just as much as the offense gets paid. You get paid.
No, they don't. And you know it. Hold on. Time out.
What?
That was just I'm sorry. That was a stupid statement.
How?
That was defense doesn't get paid as much as offense. Everybody knows that.
Aaron Donald doesn't get paid?
No. That's not what I said. You said defense gets paid as much as offense.
Yeah, you get paid your money.
That's
who cares if you get paid $500,000 or $50,000?
That's not what you said. Because I'm going to pick apart everything you say now.
Do it.
You said, and I quote, defense gets paid as much as offense. Really? Would you like me to look up the average NFL salary for an offense versus an average NFL salary for a defense? I guarantee you the offense gets paid more. Guarantee it. Put money on it.
You realize that on defense, they rotate more players than the offense rotates players. You realize that, right? There's more defensive players that come in and out of a drive than the players on offense that come in and out of a drive. It's not
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the right answer. This, and then if we're tied at the end of the extra quarter, we go to the college rules. 100% correct.
College rules are garbage.
No, because you can't play football
2-point conversions, like nonsense.
No 2-point conversions.
That right there is the right answer. Neither defense stepped up in the fourth quarter. Fact. You should then let them play it out and see what happens.
Congrats,
you know why
you just said that.
But hold on. Do you know why you should just do that? Hold on. Do you know why you should do that? Because everybody gets more football. Everybody's happy. You get more football. How is that a bad thing?
You play one quarter. If you're tied at the end of a quarter, you go to the college rule of the 25. No 2-point conversion. You play touchdowns and extra points.
Those college rules are just stupid with the 2-point conversions.
You have to tweak it. No 2-point conversions. You play 25, touchdown, and you match. That's it. Because you can't play football indefinitely. We can't have an 8-quarter game going on.
Definitely can't do that.
It's too violent of a game. But you could do one quarter, and then you go to the 25. And whoever stops.
So would you do a 10-minute quarter instead?
No, 15 minutes.
Because you're trying to protect a player's safety, right?
Yeah, because the NFL's concerned about that.
But I'm just saying from our standpoint, from what we're talking about, we care about the player's safety.
It's the playoffs. These are playoff rules. Playoff rules, you play a quarter, you go to college rules. Regular season, you play the 10 minutes, that's it, tie. We're just talking playoffs, because it very rarely happens. You play the quarter like it's a regular quarter.
I agree.
Get to the end of it. You go to the 25-yard line. You match possessions.
I would be okay with that. Because then, John, as you say, have the defense make a stop.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone going to the whole 13 seconds with the Chiefs. listen, neither defense did anything in
It's
that
the greatest
fourth quarter.
comeback I've ever seen in NFL history. It's the greatest
Which one?
comeback
The
ever.
Bills? The
The
Bills or the
Chiefs.
Chiefs? Because you
The
can say the
Chiefs.
same thing with the Bills.
You can
No,
say the
but
same thing with the
13
Bills.
seconds, 13 seconds to drive down from the 25-yard line to get a game-tying field goal in that situation, that's the greatest comeback and the greatest meltdown I've ever seen.
I completely disagree.
I've never seen somebody
seen
melt
worse.
down that bad. The Falcons one wasn't even that bad. Like, that was worse.
You're definitely wrong.
Absolutely.
Like, the
not.
Falcons one was
points.
bad. Don't get me wrong. But this, all you had to do was kick it short. Kick it to the 5-yard line. The Chiefs have zero chance. Zero.
I
over.
agree with you. I agree with you completely.
How
that the
do
game
you not
plan was
do
wrong.
that? That's situational
agree.
football 101.
I agree with you. The game plan was wrong, but you can't call it the biggest meltdown ever. 28
It's
to 3
the
was
worst.
a lot worse.
It's not only that, but this sets Josh Allen back because Josh Allen is trying to get the only guy, Jake, and I see a look on your face. The only guy he can't get past is Patrick Mahomes. That's the only one, and he can't do it.
You know
And
what
he
this reminds
hasn't
me
done
of, don't you?
And hold on,
I'm just
this is the best. This is the best game Josh Allen's ever going to play. This was
Practically, what was the score last year?
He beat Patrick Mahomes. Like, he beat him. He had him as badly as you can. And they let.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. If I am the Bills right now, once the offseason comes, I get on the phone with the Giants because the Giants are not going anywhere. What would it take to get me Saquon Barkley? What do I got to do? I need a running back. He's on a team that's not going anywhere. What do I need to get him? Because if I have a running back, that offense is solid. And I am drafting as many offensive linemen and as many defensive players as I can because they're set, but all they're on the skill position. That's all I'm doing if I'm the Bills. If it takes me a first round, whatever, get me Saquon. Because that is the only thing that their offense is missing.
And this has to go in your mind. This is going to be the whole offseason, I think, if you're Josh Allen. The whole regular season, until you get the Chiefs again in the playoffs next year, it's going to run through your mind.
Hang on 1 second. Jay just brought up probably the biggest debacle.
Hold on, real quick, JB, to answer your question, last year was 38-24 Chiefs.
And
that was the score.
But hold on, let me finish. The reason I say this is the biggest meltdown, it's not just what the Falcons did, because the Falcons weren't a dynasty. The Falcons didn't have an opportunity to year in and year out contend for the Super Bowl. Like, they had the one big fluke type of year. They had 1 year. The Bills have the team, and Mahomes is the only guy standing in Josh Allen's way right now, right? He's the only one standing legitimately, and it's been this way for a couple years. No, but seriously, the only guy that's been able to stop Josh Allen is Patrick Mahomes. Nobody else has been able to do it. Lamar Jackson couldn't.
2 years?
I don't think Joe Burrow does. If Joe Burrow and Josh Allen play, I think Josh Allen beats his ass.
And they haven't played the Ravens in the playoffs. I mean,
they beat the Ravens last year. The Bills did. They beat Lamar Jackson. They held him to 9 points or something like that?
I don't know the
in
score
Buffalo.
like that.
So, but what I'm saying, listen, let me finish what I'm saying. You are facing one of the most generational, talented quarterbacks we've ever seen, and you can't beat him. You played the game of your life. You're probably never going to play this great of a game again. Like, this was a historically great game by Josh Allen. Like, this is one of the best playoff games.
It was great, but I don't think it's the greatest game he's ever going to play.
He threw 9 touchdowns, and he threw less incompletions. He had the greatest passer rating in NFL.
He threw 4 touchdowns this game.
No, this postseason. Okay.
Yeah, but we're talking about one game.
He had the greatest quarterback rating for a postseason, minimum 50 attempts ever, history, above Joe Montana, above everybody. Okay, that's how good he was. Great he was this postseason, and it still wasn't enough to beat Patrick Mahomes. What in his mind it's going to be? What is it going to take for me to get past Patrick Mahomes? Because
a running game.
Anybody else, if you put the Bengals in that situation and the Bills play that well, the Bengals aren't beating them. Anybody else in the AFC is not winning that
I gotta agree with JB. It's the same problem as last year. I'll read you their rushing statistics. So Josh Allen carried the team.
Right, yeah.
11 carries, 68 yards. But let's exclude him just for a second, just for the sake of, argument, because I'm going to exclude Patrick Mahomes from the Chiefs as well. But my point will still stand. Devin Singletary, 10 rushing attempts, 26 yards. Isaiah McKenzie, 3 rush attempts, only 15 yards. Now let's go to the Chiefs. Okay? Exclude Patrick Mahomes, who had 7 carries and 69 yards. You've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 7 attempts, 60 yards. You've got Mecole Hardman, who had 2 attempts for 31 yards. And you've got Jerick McKinnon, who had 10 rushing attempts for 24, and Tyreek had -2. So, I mean, you can count it if you want. It doesn't.
Yeah.
His numbers don't matter.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Here's the point, though. Between excluding Patrick Mahomes, you still got 3 guys that combined for over 100 yards on the ground. With the Bills, excluding Josh Allen, you've got 2 guys that barely could even combine for 40 yards. And even when you add Josh Allen, you take the Chiefs guys without Patrick Mahomes, and they have, again, I'm not adding, I'm approximating. They have almost the exact same amount of rushing yards. So, and then when you add when you add Patrick Mahomes in, obviously those numbers go much more into the favor of the Chiefs. He's right. JB is completely right.
JB's been saying this all year.
I know that. He's been right.
He's been saying about the run game all year.
And he's right. And it's been proven again. That's the point.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. This is eerily reminiscent of something we've already seen before. Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning. It's the same thing. Yep. It's the exact same thing. But here's the important part to remember. Josh Allen can win a championship, and he will win a championship. It's not a matter of if.
Not on the Bills.
I didn't say that.
Wow.
They're snake bitten.
Now, hold on. My exact words were, I was going to say it's not if, it's when he will win a championship. I'm not saying who will be playing for. I'm not going down that road.
Okay.
I have no idea what his career is going to be. I don't know.
Okay.
He's going to win a championship. It may be with the Bills, and I'll tell you why. All it takes is 1 year. Patrick Mahomes get hurt, opens up the path for them to win a Super Bowl just like that, because he becomes the top dog in the AFC now. At the way things are right now, and I can't look into the future, so I'm assuming things are the way they are right now. Opens up the door to him. Nobody's going to stop him except for maybe Joe Burrow. But again, we haven't seen that matchup yet. And I'm saying, the reason I'm not including Justin Herbert, he hasn't made the playoffs yet.
We don't know what he is.
We just,
right. Yeah.
It's not that he can't. I'm trying to include quarterbacks I've seen in the playoffs and seen what they can do.
Fair.
I'm trying to keep it as accurate as I can make my statement. So that's the only reason I'm choosing not to put him in there. He very well could knock Josh Allen out because right, but that's exactly what it is. The point is, all it takes is 1 year, and then he could go to another team and be just like Peyton Manning. It's the same thing. It's the exact same situation all over again. It happens. It's why Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. Why? Because there were other guys like Joe Montana. Now it's obviously at that point NFC versus AFC for the majority of their careers. But you
still know you got to
get through the concept is still there was a guy that was better than him in terms of ability to win when it counted. And it's just the way it is. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. That's not the point. It's just one guy keeps getting the better of him. It happens. It's a tale as old as time in football.
The one thing you're ignoring, and I don't think people understand this. Josh Allen's losing Brian Dable. That is huge. Don't underestimate how big that is. Because Josh Allen's
he's not gone yet. He's probably gone.
He's leaving. Like he's getting a head coaching job, either with the Giants or Dolphins.
To be fair, not to interrupt you, but to be fair, you could also say the same thing about Patrick Mahomes is probably going to lose Eric Bieniemy.
Yes, but I don't worry about him as much because right off the bat, it was 50 touchdowns. Like it was a magical first season, and there was no. So there was no concern with Mahomes' first year he actually played. There was no concern. Allen, his first year was under 60%. People were concerned that he was raw and he wasn't going to make the transition into an actual NFL quarterback. Dable came, and once Brian Dable came, his career changed.
Patrick Mahomes had a year on the bench to watch Alex Smith. So I again, it's not that your point's invalid. It's a very fair point, and I understand it. It's a little bit different because Josh Allen year 2 is more or less what Mahomes got in year 1.
But we've never seen a bad year out of Mahomes. Like we've never seen
but what I'm saying is Mahomes wasn't thrust into starting right away. Allen was. So really Mahomes year 1 as a starter. So his year 2 is technically his year 1 as a starter.
But that's what I'm saying.
The equivalent
it's
to Allen
And-
at his year 2
and
as
to
well.
top it all off, though,
So
but to
that's
even go
you have
back
to keep it like that.
Had Buffalo not shot itself in the foot by blowing games that they should have won,
That's true
the
too.
New England game, the Chargers, who had a shot at one point to bury the Chiefs and even win the division, and it's just all year the Chiefs got the lucky breaks and ended up being the number 1 seed.
And it
That's
happens.
the other thing. You got to be the number 1 seed, and you can't
What's up,
not
John?
be the number 1 seed.
So I want to read you the stats because Dable has been there 2 seasons. The first season, Josh Allen started 11 games. He played 12. Went 5-6, 52.8% completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, 12 picks. That's what people were concerned.
Yep, that's
Then
fine.
his second year, he started every game, no Dable still, 10-6, 58.8% completion percentage, 20 touchdowns, and 9 picks. So he still struggled.
That's steady improvement. Just
Right,
to be
but
fair.
he's still under 60%, so people are still worried about the accuracy like they had Newton. Then Dable comes these past 2 years, and he has 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks, 69% completion percentage. Then this year, 63%.
You also have to remember the Diggs trade.
With Dable, he became a completely different quarterback.
It's not just Dable. They also brought in Diggs, which is a
right.
huge part of it.
They brought in Diggs these past 2 years as well.
Right. So, I mean, that's a huge difference, too, when you have a number 1 receiver like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take the first year with Allen and say anything. First of all, he didn't go
I'm not saying he's going to be a terrible quarterback. I'm just saying
Mahomes is a better quarterback. That's not the question. Right. But here's the thing. But here's the thing. That first year is hard to judge because, again, he was thrust into starting. There's a difference. And Allen will be fine because he doesn't need Dable anymore. He helps. It helps having him. But Dable has taught him what he needs to continually be a good quarterback now. And that's why I'm not worried about him. Exactly. It's not like Allen got, half a season with him and then was said, okay, he's leaving now. He got multiple years to learn from him, multiple seasons to learn from him, get what he needs to fix his problems, and now he'll be fine. That's why I'm not worried.
Completely.
I have no worries.
I'm not saying he's going to be a bad quarterback, but I'm just saying, it's a little bit of a concern if you're a Bills fan because Dable really did make a big difference.
No, the concern is the offensive line and not having a running game. That's the concern. And it's been the same.
The offensive line's fantastic. They have a great offensive line. What are you talking about? Mitch Morse? Deion Dawkins? What are you talking about? Get this guy out of here. He's out of order. Get him out of here.
Okay.
You live in New York and you don't even know about the Bills. Get out of here.
Buffalo is as much New York as the Jets and Giants play in the city.
Hey,
there's your answer to that.
They play there. They're there.
They're
out of order.
Let's move on to one more topic I think needs to be discussed. And if there's something else you'd rather talk about, let me know. But I feel like
go on.
Sean Payton today, it's big news. I feel like that's pretty worthy. Unless there was something else from this weekend that you really want to talk about.
Oh, I have some.
Basically, I'll give you my short Payton take right now.
Yep.
The Saints ain't going nowhere. Drew Brees is going to stay.
Don't you steal my thunder.
And, Payton's going to look for a new job by saying he's, going to take some time away. He may take a year
I
off.
hate you so much. I hate you so much for stealing my thunder.
I'm going to tell you why he left.
Or he's going to go to Jerry and get a nice contract.
I'm telling you why he left. There is one.
Is that you, Urban Meyer? Is that you, or is that you, Sean Payton?
There's one. Hold on. There's one obvious reason that he left.
I want to hear this one.
The Saints are in cap hell for the next few years. They have the worst cap situation I have probably ever seen in football. I wouldn't want to deal with that.
I'm surprised he didn't fake a heart attack.
Look, and I know he'll never admit it. But, I mean, come on. Can you blame him? Their cap situation is horrible.
No,
they are in such trouble. It is going to be so bad for quite a few years to come. And I don't think he wants to deal with that. And I don't blame him.
Your team, right? That's the guy that's been there forever. And as soon as things get bad, like Urban Meyer with the Gators or Ohio State, he's like, you know what?
But the thing is, I think what's going to happen.
Oh, my heart. This is
think he's going
Sanford
to
and Son.
I do think he really is going to take time to enjoy his family. I do think he'll go to another team eventually,
What,
but I do
about
think
2-3 weeks?
he's
But I think
using
you
it
two
as
are right. I think you two are right. Your points are 100%.
I think he's using it as an opportunity to get out.
Well, he has 3 years left on his deal, so he can't get out.
But here's the thing. He can go to another team if another team
get out
pays,
if you have 3 years on your deal.
If he goes to another team can pay the Saints, and that'll be the end of it. But more importantly, what I say when I say that is he's getting out. He's taking an opportunity to leave and avoid some of the absolute awful pain that he is going to have that would have to be endured if he stayed there, because dealing with that roster the next however many years is going to take to fix is going to be awful. And my favorite part is, we're going to do all this. We're going to sign all these players and have all this money being spent. How many championships that won them? 0. And that proves money doesn't just buy championships.
To be fair, I mean, it's not like Bill Belichick ran after Tom Brady went up and left. You know what I mean? Like, you lose a guy like Tom Brady. It's not like Belichick's like, oh, Miss Elizabeth, I'm coming. It's my heart. Like Sanford said, like, it's not like that. Bill Belichick stuck around.
That would be me.
Got him to the
playoffs. Like me to get it? Give me 1 sec.
Like, it took 1 year and he got him to the playoffs.
Are you going to burn it? Can you throw it in the trash like Skip Ellis with his Dallas jersey?
Like, Bill Belichick stays around Sean Payton's like, you know what? It's been nice. It's been real New Orleans, but I got to go. I miss my family. Like, get out of here.
I got you. I see the comment. You want me to wear it? Give me 1 sec while I put it on.
I think you should do the Skip Ellis and throw it out.
Because, and I can't hear anything you're saying, by the way. So anything you say, I cannot hear.
Can it be?
But give me 1 second. I'll put this on. Not because I'm proud of him. I feel like
this was the Mr. Rodgers show now. Could you change your shoes next, please?
He looks so proud to be wearing a winner.
I'm not wearing. I'm not wearing this with pride. I was going to say I'm not wearing this out of pride. I'm wearing out of this because he deserves to know that I'm going to say this. This was on him. This was pathetic.
You should take that jersey and do the Skip Bayless and throw it in the trash.
Oh, you want to do that? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
In honor of Skip Bayless.
I got it. I got trash right here. Hold on.
You got to put the trash on camera.
It's Trash Tuesday.
Come on, let's see the trash bag. Let's see it.
Here's an empty trash can. There's a fork.
And please hashtag the show and make sure Skip sees this.
There's just a fork in there, so there's really like nothing.
Oh, just like Aaron Rodgers' career.
Yep.
Stick a fork.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry. I'm not taking that out of the trash because that is a nice jersey and I don't want to ruin it.
That was $200 for it.
That was. I'm not even upset to have done that. I do it for the fans. I love to make everybody happy. He was terrible this weekend. I defended him in the past.
Continue. I got 1 moment. I'll be right back with my problem.
I've defended him in the past, and I'm willing to admit that in the past it wasn't his fault. This week, between the offensive line and his inability to play, I blame him. I blame him, and I say it because Rodgers has been so outspoken, as you know. Rodgers has, he said, "Look, I love playing in the cold weather. When I'm playing in Green Bay, that's his favorite place to be." Right? He says that he embraces it. Well, buddy, you played in the cold weather. You played at home, and you played yourself because you looked awful. Your whole offense was putrid. You scored 10 points? Come on. And Matt LaFleur, I'm going to say this. Dude, I don't know what you're doing, but you knew your special teams was a problem, yet you chose not to try and fix it. You actively said, our special teams is an issue, and then went ahead and said, we'll leave it alone. No big deal. And then it completely cost you the game. Anyway, John,
who are we talking about?
Listen, all I'm going to say.
Real quick, to catch John up, I was saying Aaron Rodgers has always said, I love to play in the cold weather. Well, now you got to play in the cold weather, and you sucked, so that's on you. Your offensive line was putrid, and Matt LaFleur, you knew that your special teams was a problem. Here you are, here you are knowing it's a problem, and guess what? No big deal. I don't care. I won't adjust it. And then it cost you a game. Now you make it.
Listen. All I'm going to say about Rodgers, every year it's an excuse. It's the defense. It's this. It's
no,
that.
This is his fault.
They scored 10 points. 10 points.
May I go get my Rodgers jersey while you guys continue?
Go right ahead.
All right,
we're
I'll
gonna
be right
complain
back.
about everything. It's the defense. It's the play calling. It's my hangnail. I got a broken toe. It's
hold on, JB.
it's
JB,
raining.
who am I? Hey, here's my toe. You see that? Here's my toe. Who am I? Who am I? Come on. Come on, man.
Listen, the guy is
Come
a
on.
loser. All he did was cry all year. You know what? Go cry at home and watch Matthew Stafford against Jimmy G and see where it goes. Because and we'll get to Stafford in a second. I'm still staying with my point. But I'd still take Stafford over Rodgers. I don't want a guy that's going to cry all day. He doesn't win in the playoffs. Won Super Bowl. The most wins in the last 3 years and got to 0 Super Bowls. Bye-bye, Aaron.
Yeah. Look, I've defended Aaron Rodgers in the past, and I don't take this is a good comment. That's funny. John, you missed it. I put my foot on camera to make fun of Aaron Rodgers.
Give me one sec to put on my Rodgers jersey, and you guys keep talking.
You're good. Look, I've defended Rodgers in the past willingly because there are other years that were not his fault. That's fine. This year was his fault, and I take 100% responsibility for him. Yeah, you're right. But I'm going to say this. Rodgers is not going to be on the Green Bay Packers next year. I'm going to tell you who's going to go play for, because Rodgers can't handle the fact that he's going to lose his best friend, Devontae Adams, probably. That this team is apparently just unable to win. You know who he's going to go play for? Hold on, John. He's going to go play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? Because he wants to go to a winning franchise with a coach that can actually win games.
What
and maybe then he won't choke. Maybe then he won't choke. But even then, he'll probably still choke because he choked this year. This is his fault this year.
Honk, honk.
He is
I'm
a pathetic excuse for a leader.
John, I did it to JB. You were here.
could.
Hold on. John, who am I? My toe. Who am I? John, who am I?
I am the leader of this franchise. I'm not going to leave them. I'm immunized. And, you know, I'm not sure what I want to do this offseason. I don't know where I want to go. I have a lot of decisions to make, you know, a lot of circuses to attend, you know, all kinds of things. And we'll see what happens in the future. I have a lot of commercials for State Farm to do. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thanks. It's been nice. You know, thanks for having me.
John, do you have a garbage can by you?
I mean, does this count?
No, no, really. Do you have a real garbage can? Because I'd love to do something with you.
Somewhere. Yeah, I can't find it, but you know.
I was gonna say I'd love to grab the trash cans and throw the jerseys in together, because I love Aaron Rodgers. You guys. I know. I love Aaron Rodgers, but
all year
this was what he was in the playoffs. No, his regular season was fantastic. Hold on.
Every year.
Hold on. No. There are years where he's good. This year is This is a year where it is 1,000% his fault. The only other person or people that deserve blame are his offensive line.
I think we should give him a moment of silence for all the Green Bay fans, because that's all they got at Green Bay.
Hold on.
They have nothing to do till September.
I gotta say this, because his offensive line had how many sacks on him? I think he had I want to say it was 9, but I think that was the Bengals game.
Joe Burrow had 9 sacks on him.
I can't remember who had how many sacks. That's
Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow won his game.
Cincinnati.
Exactly.
Who called it at the end of the regular season that either Cincinnati or the Chargers, if they made the playoffs? One of those two teams was getting the championship game.
But hold on.
Who called that?
The Green Bay Packers allowed 5 sacks, which is also pathetic.
These are just great comments.
This is awesome.
This is fantastic.
This is why we do the show. This is why.
All I'm gonna say is no respect.
No
respect.
This is the year that I'm saying, Rodgers. You know what? This is the year where I say, Rodgers, sir, you're out of order. You're out of order.
And then I'll end up on the Dolphins, and then it'll be a conflict of interest for me.
No shot. I'm telling you, he's going to Steelers. I say that because there's a solid defense there. He's got decent weapons. He'll have a good run game, good offensive line, and he'll have a good coach. And to him, it's a winning franchise. To him, all of that screams, I got to go there. Because
low key, Pittsburgh does have a lot of drama
Cap.
that goes through.
They have
there.
some cap room too, though.
No, but I'm
also.
talking about the drama that goes through Pittsburgh. Despite Mike Tomlin winning all the time,
Oh yeah,
he always has a lot of drama. Always
They
players
got-
have drama.
they have
Top-
TikTok boy
top
1
three
and 2.
coaches, the top 3 coach in the NFL. Mike
But how
Tomlin.
does his team always have so much drama?
Doesn't matter. They keep winning.
Because he cancels
What
out. He
about it?
cancels out the noise.
Mike
Also-
Wallace, Ben Roethlisberger.
Real quick,
he-
really quick. Before we wrap up, because we're like right at the end. Tom Brady has talked about potentially retiring. I just really quickly.
He ain't going nowhere.
Does anybody buy it?
I
JB,
buy it.
you don't buy it, JB?
I buy it.
JB
You
doesn't
may go
buy it.
somewhere
John?
I buy it. It's that talk doesn't come out of nowhere, and it just pops up. Tom Brady's every year it's been talked about retiring. He's immediately shot it down, and this year he's like, I'm not sure. I got to talk with my family. Like, that's not Tom Brady. So when Tom Brady starts, like I said before with Ben Roethlisberger, once you're already halfway out the door on retiring, you're gone. Like,
No.
Roethlisberger's
I-
not the
He ain't
same.
going out like
I'm
that.
going to leave
He
it
ain't
like
going
this.
out like that.
There's no shot.
He
He's
ain't
not
going
leaving.
out.
He's not done.
He's done.
No.
He's not done. He's not
He
done.
knows his team is not winning he's not winning a Super Bowl ever again in Tampa. He realized that
I don't
this
know
year.
about that.
Godwin's got to come back from an ACL injury. No AB. Like, the team isn't the same as they were last year. He had to have a perfect storm and the perfect team, and it's not happening again.
They didn't have a perfect team.
They
Like, had a
had the
bunch of
perfect,
superstars.
like, they had a great defense. They had all the weapons you could ever ask for a quarterback, and he doesn't have them anymore. Like, it's not
Listen.
it's not a
You know what I'm
perfect
going to tell you is
situation.
going to
anymore.
happen? I got a crazy idea. Tom Brady restructures his contract, and somehow they get Devontae Adams.
No.
He'll stay.
I think
He'll
Devontae
stay.
Adams is going to follow Rodgers or
Oh,
Derek
I think
Carr.
so too. No,
or Derek
you know,
Carr.
I mean, I said that semi as a joke. Yeah, he will. You're
or
right.
Derek Carr, because they
No.
both went to the same college.
I get that thought. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't
when
think
it's
so.
when it's all said and done, bye-bye Rodgers. You lost Jeopardy. You lost in the playoffs again. Good riddance. Tom Brady ain't going nowhere. Maybe to a different team, but if he wants to not stay in Tampa, but Tom Brady is not retiring.
You
Not
know who
after-
else? I'm gonna leave it at this. You know who
Yeah.
might somehow go out and get Devontae Adams?
Who?
Miami is the top landing spot right now, according to Bleacher Report.
Cincinnati. They have the top
They have three
4 cap
receivers.
space.
They have
You could
phenomenal receivers.
You could trade one easily, and imagine Devontae
No.
and Jamar, and depending on who they choose to keep, Tyler Boyd, maybe if they
Or my guy
just
T. Higgins.
or T. Higgins.
I would have get rid of
Just-
Higgins.
But just
I
think
would've-
about
yeah,
I
that.
would've
JB, or
messed with
Jake
that
got rid of
chemistry.
T. Higgins.
Just think about that for a second. They're
I would've
top
do
5
that
in
in a
cap
second.
space. It would be perfect, and that's taking.
You got to fix the offensive line. You can't spend the little money
Yeah.
that
They could do both with the amount of
It's
money
not
they'll have. They
perfect.
could easily do it.
Got to fix the line because Burrow can't. Burrow's not going to be a quarterback for very long if he keeps getting hit like David Carr.
They have nearly $60 million in cap space. It could totally happen.
That guy limps like 10 times a game. Like he can't live like that.
You can't.
He's got
you
ice
can't
in his
leave him-
veins, though.
He's too much to your
Doesn't-
franchise to leave him out, to hang him out like that.
Yep.
They got to do something.
This
Real
is
quick
2 years
before
in
we
a
wrap
row where
up,
he's
Oh, there's
gotten
their
his
names.
butt kicked
as
physically.
we're wrapping, who's winning this weekend? Judd, you start with you, and where they can find you.
Yeah, Chiefs and Rams. It's gonna be Chiefs Rams. Sideline Sports, of course, the best place that you can go. Sideline Sports Network, Tuesday nights 8:30, DBNA Television every morning 4:30 a.m. Fox Sports 13:40 a.m. Freelance writing there. Blue Hawks 13. Sports Arena Monday and Wednesday nights 10 Eastern time. Occasionally on South Florida Tribune's show on Thursday nights at about 7:45. That's a great show you want to check out. And then NFL Carousel, Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, Thursdays during the NFL season, because we never forget about Alex Fleming. And I think that's it.
JB,
There's
who
so
you got
many
winning this week?
places.
JB, you go
All right.
next. I got you.
JB underscore the program. We got this weekend. The Chiefs unfortunately beat the Bengals. And as much as I hate to say it, Matthew Stafford staying home for the Super Bowl in LA, where we'll be out there covering it in a couple of weeks. But getting to where I am, JB underscore the program. We got here, Sideline Network, Sideline Sports Network every Tuesday. DBNA television, 4 a.m. every night. You never know where you're going to find us. There's so much going on. NFL Carousel, NBA Carousel, the Inscriber Sports page by Sideline Sports. I'm done telling you where you can find me. Just look up. You'll see me. Jake?
Look, Rams, they're going to get their revenge finally. They lost twice to the 49ers. They'll get their revenge this weekend. And I want to be different, but I don't trust it. I'm sticking with you guys going with the Chiefs. I like the idea of the Bengals making the Super Bowl. I don't see it happening. You guys can find me, though, on Twitter at Jake_Malik. More importantly, you guys can find Sideline Sports at the following places, as you see across the bottom of your screen. Instagram and Twitter is Sideline Sport 1. YouTube and Facebook is Sideline Sports. We have a group and a page. DBNA Television, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Score No Score.
Score No Score. We're everywhere. Just look us up. You'll find us. Simple as that. Anything else, gentlemen, before we wrap things up?
Most important place, the most important face, man, right here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I really do.
Right back there. You see up there? That's the most important face.
Don't forget about Eric Wilson. He's also a big member of our team as well.
Absolutely.
Of course.
All right. Everybody have a good one, and we will see you next time.